These 8 useful English words will boost your everyday fluency and your IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge score. And you won't just memorize them. You'll meet each one inside the story, feel what it means, then prove you caught it. That's how your brain keeps them for good. The stranger rode into Dry Fork on a half-dead horse, and within an hour, the whole town had decided he was a killer. They were watching the wrong man. The real outlaw was already among them, and he was smiling. He was a rugged man, all dust and silence, with a week of beard and a long coat gone gray from the road. He tied his horse at the water trough and asked quietly for a room. The barman just stared. Down the bar, 3 men turned and glared, their hands sliding toward their belts. By nightfall, the rumors had spread to every porch in Dry Fork. A wanted poster had come in on the last stagecoach. A robber named Cade, worth $500, who had held up banks all across the territory. The face on the poster was hard to make out, but the rumors said it was him. The outlaw Cade had come to Dry Fork. The stranger felt the whole town turn cold against him. Wherever he walked, doors closed and curtains twitched. Mothers pulled their children indoors. At the store, the shopkeeper, kindly Mr. Pike, served everyone with a warm smile, but glared at the stranger and happened to be out of everything the man asked for. The mistrust thickened by the hour, and it was Mr. Pike, more than anyone, who fed it. He leaned over his counter and told each customer, low and worried, that he had heard things about the newcomer. He had seen that face before, he said. He didn't want to frighten folk, but a man couldn't be too careful. By morning, the town's mistrust had hardened into something close to a mob. The stranger said nothing to defend himself. He ate alone, paid in silence, and watched. But he was not watching the angry townsfolk. He was watching the bank and the road and the dust on Mr. Pike's boots. And most of all, he was watching the calendar. Tomorrow, the army payroll would pass through Dry Fork on the noon stagecoach. At dawn, the sheriff and 6 armed men came for him. "We don't want your kind here, Cade," the sheriff said. The stranger raised his hand slowly. "You've got the wrong man," he said, in a voice like gravel. "And while you point those guns at me, the right one is about to rob your stagecoach." No one believed him. They locked him in the jailhouse and went to watch the noon coach come in, proud of themselves. They were all in the wrong place. 2 miles out, where the road narrowed between the rocks, the real gang was waiting in an ambush. 6 riders, masked and ready, crouched above the trail with their rifles trained on the spot where the payroll coach would slow to a crawl. It was a perfect ambush, and the town had locked away the only man who knew. But the stranger had picked the jailhouse lock before the dust of the posse had even settled. He took his horse and rode. He galloped out the back road, hard, cutting across the dry hills toward the rocks. 1 tired man and 1 tired horse against 6 guns, racing the clock to reach the coach first. He reached the Narrows just as the stagecoach came rattling in. He galloped straight into the open, firing his pistol into the air, shouting, spooking the horses, and breaking the trap a heartbeat before it sprang. The coach driver hauled the team around. The masked gang, surprised and suddenly exposed, scattered into the hills rather than face a fight they no longer controlled. When the dust cleared, the stranger pulled the mask from the one rider he had knocked from the saddle. The town, arriving at last, gasped. It was not a faceless bandit. It was kindly Mr. Pike, the shopkeeper, the very man who had pointed every finger at the stranger. The real traitor had been among them all along, and he had spread the rumors himself to keep every eye fixed on the wrong man. The stranger, it turned out, was no outlaw at all. He was a retired marshal named Hale, who had been tracking Pike's gang across 3 counties. He had recognized Pike the moment he rode in, and had stayed silent and watchful, knowing the gang would have to show themselves at last. The traitor the town had trusted, and the hero it had feared, had been standing side by side the whole time. The people of Dry Fork could not meet his eyes. The same men who had glared at him now stared hard at their own boots, ashamed. They had judged a man by his dust and his silence, and they had very nearly hanged the one person who had come to save them. Marshal Hale did not stay for the thanks. He let them load Pike into the very jail they had built for the stranger, climbed back onto his rugged, tired horse, and rode out the way he had come. The mistrust of a whole town had not made him bitter. He had simply done the right thing and ridden on into the wide, rugged country beyond, looking for the next quiet wrong that needed setting straight. Now, did you catch all 8? Let's find out. A verb meaning to stare hard and angrily at someone. It's the furious look a person gives you when you've made them angry. The townsman did this at the stranger the moment he arrived. 3 men turned to do what at the newcomer? Stare angrily, with hands near their belts?
The word is ɡlɛr.
She glared at him across the table, far too angry to speak. A noun for a story passed around that may not be true. It's the unproven gossip that travels from porch to porch in a town. These spread across Dry Fork, claiming the stranger was a robber. A wild, what said the famous bandit Cade had ridden into town?
The word is rumour.
A rumor went around the office that the boss was leaving. A verb meaning to ride a horse at its very fastest speed. It's the thundering run of a racehorse charging down the track. The stranger did this across the hills to reach the coach in time. He had to do what? Ride at full speed for the rocks before the trap could spring?
The word is gallop.
The riders began to gallop across the open field toward the river. A noun for a criminal who lives on the run, outside the law. It's the robber of the Old West, a price on his head and a fast horse. The whole town wrongly believed the stranger was this kind of man. They were sure the wanted what Cade had come to rob their bank?
The word is outlaw.
The outlaw fled into the hills with the sheriff close behind. A noun for a surprise attack made from a hidden position. It's the trap where attackers lie in wait, then strike without warning. The real gang prepared one of these in the rocks above the trail. 6 masked riders sat in what where the road narrowed between the cliffs?
The word is ambush.
The soldiers walked straight into an ambush in the narrow valley. A noun for a strong feeling that you cannot trust someone. It's the cold suspicion that makes you lock your door against a person. This spread through Dry Fork until the town turned into a mob. The town's what of the quiet stranger grew heavier by the hour.
The word is mistrust.
Years of broken promises had bred a deep mistrust between them. A noun for a person who betrays the trust of the people around them. It's the false friend who secretly works for the very enemy you feared. When the mask came off, the town saw the true one was Mr. Pike. The real what was the trusted shopkeeper, not the stranger at all.
The word is traitor.
Everyone branded him a traitor for betraying his closest friends. An adjective meaning rough, tough, and weather-beaten. Think of a hard mountain face, or a man worn rough by wind and sun. The dusty stranger had this look after long weeks on the road. He climbed onto his what kind of tired horse and rode off into the hills. The word is rugged. The rugged coastline was battered by wind and gray winter waves. Quick recap. How many do you still remember?
ɡlɛr, rumour, gallop, outlaw, ambush, mistrust, traitor,
Rugged. A new English story every day. Subscribe and learn useful words the way your brain actually keeps them. Inside a story you won't forget.